Paul Harvey, A Man and the Birds: A Christmas Story. The man in question was no longer a Scrooge. He was a decent, kind and generally kind man who was honest with other men and generous to his family. However, he just did not subscribe to all of the incarnation doctrines that are preached by churches around Christmas. He was too honest to pretend otherwise, and it simply did not make sense. Jesus' account of God taking in human form was too much for him to accept. "I'm so sorry to upset you, but I am just not going to church with you this Christmas Eve," he said to his wife. He claimed that although he would much rather stay at home and feel hypocritical, he will wait for them. In order to attend the midnight service, he stayed. Snow started to fall shortly after the family left in the automobile. He went to the window to observe the growing number of snowflakes. After that, he returned to his chair by the fire and started reading his newspaper. A few minutes later, he heard a thudding sound, followed by another, and still another. He initially believed that snowballs were being thrown against the living room window. However, when investigating at the front door, he discovered a group of birds huddled in the snow. The storm had ensnared them. They had attempted to fly through his enormous landscape window in a desperate attempt to find cover. That was the source of the noise. He could not just leave those poor creatures freeze and lie there though. Thus he recalled the barn where his kids kept their pony. That would offer a cozy haven. He just needed to guide the birds into the shelter. He quickly pulled on a coat and galoshes, walked to the barn through the increasing snow, and flung open the doors. He also switched on a light inside the barn, so the birds would know how to go in. However, the birds did not enter. He reasoned that food would lure them in. He returned to the house, got some breadcrumbs and placed them on the snow, creating a breadcrumb trail that led to the stable's wide open, yellow-lit doorway. However, the birds disregarded the breadcrumbs, which disappointed him. The birds just kept flapping around in the snow, powerless. He attempted to capture them. He was unable to. By strolling about them and waving his arms, he attempted to shoo them into the barn, but instead they dispersed everywhere, but within the warm, well-lit structure. It dawned on him then that they were scared of him. They feared him. "I am a weird, scary thing," he thought to himself. "If only I could come up with a means to reassure them that they can rely on me, and that my goal is to assist them rather than harm them." However, how? He had a way of frightening and confusing them with every move. They simply refused to follow. They were afraid of him and would not be led or chased. He reflected that if he could transform into a bird, interact with them, speak their language and reassure them that they should not be afraid, he could lead them to the warm and secure barn. However, would not I have to be one of them, so they could hear, see and comprehend? The church bells started to sound at that very moment. He stood listening to the sound of the bells as it rose above the sounds of the wind. Adeste Fidelis. Peeling the good news of Christmas while listening to the bells. In the snow, he fell to his knees. Paul Harvey. I hope this Christmas will be incredibly joyous for you and the people you care about.